You're listening to the New Artist Workshop.
You may have noticed that the heroes in our story are all animals and the villains are all people. I hope none of you take that personally. Anyway, here's our story.
Welcome back to your favorite podcast. Now that's what I call a franchise. I'm Peter Mancuso.
And I'm Viviana Metzger. And this is the show where Peter and I pick a film franchise.
Pick a film.
And go through every single installment. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
And to be clear, we're defining a franchise as a series of films with at least 4 entries. So Viviana, what are we talking about today?
Alright, today we're talking about the 1972 film, The Muppet Musicians of Bremen. This is your one and only spoiler warnings. If you haven't watched the movie, go pirate that before listening to this episode.
Yeah, like with all of these, this is just on YouTube. Though mercifully, it wasn't in a playlist. It was just the full 50-minute movie. Instead of just being a bunch of clips. Like the Frog Prince was. But
yeah.
So listeners, you might be wondering, oh, Bremen, is this a German story? So this is actually based off of a German fairy tale I learned. But they didn't want to do it in Germany. Like, they didn't want it to be set in Germany. They wanted it to be set in Louisiana so they could do the jazz music.
Is there no real Bremen, Louisiana?
I don't think so. I literally Googled Bremen, Louisiana. No. And the only thing that came up was the Muppet Wiki. So, my thinking is...
What is the other place they always say? It's some weird... It's like a funny place.
In this movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember. No,
it's like a Kokompana... Only 4 miles.
Wanahakaluki?
Only 4 miles from Kakapuka, whatever.
I'm not very well versed in my Louisiana geography. But you know what I am well versed in? Segways. So why don't you read the letterbox blurb for us?
Oh my god. 4 mistreated farm animals seek refuge as a band of traveling musicians in the musical tale narrated by Kermit the Frog.
I don't even know if he narrates it. Because he'll show up as an on-screen narrator.
That one little part.
Yeah.
Like the beginning, and then he was in it. And then
very briefly. That was pretty funny when he was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I'm in this for a little bit. He's a goofy guy. He's just a silly guy.
He's just a silly guy?
He's just a silly guy. So here's some basic... I think it's like the exact same director, writer. It's Jim Henson directing and producing. Written by Jerry Jewell again. Not Jewel.
Good job.
Like jewels. Like the smoking jewel.
No.
Isn't that Juul?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this is Juhl.
So not like a ruby.
Not a jewel like that either. Not a ruby. It's not like you said a rupee.
No.
Like in Zelda. Or the real life currency. The real life currency. Wait, hey, not to go on a tangent, why is the currency in The Legend of Zelda a Japanese game modeled off of Western fantasy? Why is the in-universe currency rupees?
I don't know.
This was released on TV. I couldn't find the channel it was on. I don't think it exists anymore. I think from what I was reading, it was like a channel that doesn't even exist anymore. In April of 1972. The same year that Godfather came out.
Hey, it's April now.
It is April now. Well, not when you're listening to this, listeners.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry! You don't have the cool April like we do.
What?
Oh, I guess you just wait and you'll get April again.
Let me see. When 1972. 53 years later to the day.
To the day?
Well, to the month.
Actually, what day was it? Did it come out? Hold on, let me... So I usually just put the month and year, because sometimes there's movies like they'll have like the... Okay, stop singing Emmett Otter. That's not until the next one.
Bacon chicken?
Yeah, if you're going to sing songs. This was April 26th. Today's the 25th.
Literally tomorrow.
Maybe we should have waited till tomorrow. That's actually kind of crazy.
That's funny.
Down
on my knees, wishing on my wishbone.
Viviana. Okay, so I guess
A banjo bacon chicken.
I guess this kind of speaks to the quality of the movie. Like, I don't remember a single lyric from the songs. Not because I didn't like the songs; they were just like so fast and so dense with lyrics. Viviana's been singing like such deep cuts from it. I'm like, how do you remember that?
Because it's hilarious.
A finger licking chicken?
No, a banjo picking chicken. Because he's playing the banjo.
Of course.
A banjo picking chicken.
Oh my goodness.
And then, donkey with a tuba, whatever, blah, blah, blah. A banjo picking chicken.
Don't you need fingers for a tuba? It's not just blowing. Isn't it like you're clicking little buttons or whatever?
It's okay.
I know a lot of it also has to do with the shape of your mouth.
It's okay.
But it's surely not only that. And furthermore, donkeys don't have like lips like that. Like,
no, it's completely anatomically incorrect for playing the tuba.
I don't know why I'm pulling a Neil deGrasse Tyson. Listening to Raining Men. Impossible.
It's Raining Men.
Impossible.
No, yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah, because there are. Oh, I forgot what they're called. Are they called pads?
Yeah, like the little,
Pedals? Yeah.
The little. They're not buttons. But...
I used to date a tuba player, so you know.
Wow. Did that ever factor into? And then didn't.
What?
So what did they all play? Didn't the dog play the trombone?
Yes.
And then the cat played the trumpet?
He was wishing for a ham bone.
Oh.
But it was a trombone. Yeah, I was very confused with Kitty because it was this whole thing of like, just kind of like a sultry jazz singer. And then he's like, can you play the trumpet? She's like, yeah, pretty well. I'm like, wait, I thought
she was going to be like the singer.
I thought she was going to be the singer. Yeah, like a blues singer. Like, no, she's just a trumpeter.
No. I guess they all get to sing their song.
Yeah.
Of like their like, this is my story song.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a little song. So
why don't we just jump into what we thought? Because obviously neither of us have seen this. I didn't know it existed until doing this.
Yes.
So
I thought it was silly.
I thought, would it be controversial to say the best one so far?
Yes, I think so. I think they.
It would be controversial.
No. I think it would be so right and just.
It is truly right and just.
I don't know. I'm like quoting church, but
yeah,
it is right and just.
It is truly. That's the thing I say to Viviana. Like, I know people say religion is a cult. The only time it ever feels like a cult is in at least the newer translation of the Catholic Mass. There's a part where we say, it is right and just. Just like the way we say, I don't know what it is. The old language didn't feel culty. I forget what it used to be.
The Nicene Creed kind of sounds a little culty, though.
A little bit, I guess.
But no, I think
back to this.
I think you're right in just to say that it is the best one. I think they've
so far
found a little groove. And I think oh, I forgot who it was. I don't think it was Jerry, but it was someone else. But the music was really good. That was some good Louisiana jazz.
Let's see if it's the same guy that it's been. Because remember, it was I think something Joe Raposo or something, or
I forgot his name.
Let's see who did the music. Does it say?
But yeah.
Oh no! So the music is not by the same guy that it normally would be.
Oh no.
I guess that makes sense because of jazz. So it was done by Jack Elliott, who was a film composer, conductor, music arranger, and co-founder of the New American Orchestra, later renamed the American Jazz Philharmonic.
Oh!
So
very cool. Wow.
So there you go, right? So that kind of makes sense that they didn't have him. But Jerry Jewell did the lyrics. Right? Which I think has been like a recurring thing.
He's a good lyricist.
Jerry Jewell, he's got the good scripts. He's got those good scripts.
He himself is a jewel.
He is a jewel hidden among rocks.
A banjo bacon chicken.
We can.
Sorry, I just think it's so hilarious the way he's like, a banjo bacon chicken.
Is this like your new vocal stem now?
I just thought that little rooster was so silly.
His whole little song was funny too.
It's like, I gotta say goodbye to the girls.
He's like, I don't mean to egg you on.
I gotta go, or else I'm gonna end up in the farmer's stew.
So I have like a bunch of notes here, but I wonder if maybe a good place to start is wrestling with this question of, okay, well, if it's the best one, why is it the best one? Like, what does it do that the others don't? Or what does it do better that, like why do we feel that way? You mentioned something about a groove. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What if you want? No.
No. Well, not only was it groovy, but I think Jerry is kind of coming into a groove, just like personality wise, and I think also like Jim as well, like just like showing kind of off the personalities and kind of making them their own characters, whereas like a lot of times in the previous ones they're all kind of like the same.
Or just kind of boring, like not super interesting.
Yeah, like all the elves were kind of the same, or like all the like little bad guys were all kind of the
frogs.
same. Oh, the frogs, yeah, you know.
Whereas like every single character in this has like a very distinct. Well, I guess it's really just like 8 characters. It's the 4 animals and then there are 4 humans.
Yeah,
but they all have very.
Kermit.
What's that? Oh, and Kermit, yeah. Kermit. But Kermit notwithstanding, I mean, he would apply to this as well. But just like looking at the actual characters of the story,
I think
they're
Kermit
very distinct.
Is a
and
good
defined.
example. I think Kermit is a good example because he was kind of, you know, like I don't even know how you would edgy. I don't know. He was kind of like edgy beforehand or whatever, but now I think he's like really getting into that like kind of like.
He's more of a straight man.
Sardonic, like.
I would say he's really coming in because before he was always like a secondary character, whereas with this, he's even less important, but he grounds it because he's like the narrator essentially. Like he begins and ends the story. And again, Kermit was a character that was showing up for at this point almost 20 years. Whether it be in commercials or on Sam and Friends or in these other things we watch, but then also Sesame Street, which by this point, that's a good question. When did Kermit first? When did Kermit first
I think
appear on Sesame Street? Because my point is that he was starting. Oh, he was there from the beginning, in 1969, of Sesame Street. My point being is that he's starting to assume this role of being like he's like the center of the universe, like he's like the stable center, and then everything around him is, which you really see with the other stuff where it's like an actual like classical Muppet thing. Like he's always the straight man, and you know what I mean by straight man, right?
Like he's like the normal person.
He's like, in a comedy duo. Usually, you have like the zany one.
Yeah.
Then you have the straight man who like bounces off of. Right. Yeah. So think like. We were just talking about it before Monsters, Inc. Like Mike is the wild, zany one. Yeah. Sully's like the straight man, right? Like he's like the more grounded one, right? You start to see that, whereas before, like remember in Hey Cinderella, he was just so like, oh, like he had a very dull person. He was just like,
that's what I'm saying.
Everyone hates frogs. He's really becoming more like the Kermit we know.
Yeah, that's
in terms of personality.
That's what I mean. Yeah, in terms of like kind of starting to find and solidify that like
witty but not petty. Yeah. Like he'll notice weird things people say, but he's not like, oh, you're really weird or dumb. He'll just kind of say it under his breath, like, well, that doesn't make sense. But, okay, like you know what I mean? Like he's like developed. He's starting to that's starting to emerge. The Kermit characterization that we know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess an example is like, sometimes it's difficult to hear whatever the guy's name is, talk and like kind of figure out what he's saying. But, sometimes I think it's for the best. So
yeah.
Anyway. But yeah.
We love Kermit.
Kermit, he's so funny.
Oh, Kermit! Miss Piggy didn't even exist yet.
Oh.
Because that was a Muppet Show creation.
He's single. He's just a bachelor.
He's just a single. He's just a
bachelor.
He
needs his pig. He needs his lady.
Well, I guess not, because the running gag is always like he's not really into her. I think, or he is maybe, but like doesn't want to. I don't know. Like that's a weird.
I don't know.
She's always way more into him. And he's always like, I think he's into her, but he gets burned by her because she's so volatile.
I don't know. When did they ever get married?
Yes.
Or except in that, was that a vision when they get married?
No, well, again, the canon of the Muppets is very loose. Because arguably, well, the Jason Segel movie implies that all of the Muppet movies we've seen before were movies. Like, that they were in.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, I don't know, I guess but in the Muppets Take Manhattan, they do get married at the end. But I guess that's not canonical.
Am I a man or am I a Muppet?
Am I Manhattan? Anyway, back to this movie. Back.
Yeah, and I think the other characters were funny too. The animal characters. That's another thing too. Is he was like, as you might have been able to tell, is all the good guys in the story are animals and all the bad guys are humans.
Hope you don't take it personally.
Hope you don't take it personally. Anyways, here's the story. But yeah, I like the animals. And I don't like the humans, and not just because they're bad guys, but I think they were like kind of characterized in a very strange way.
The humans are because we've never really seen that's something, that style of puppet. So for listeners, if you haven't watched the movie, it's basically, it's like Sweetums, like it's like a full, or Big Bird, it's like a full human puppet,
like suit, yeah.
But it's like the uncanny valley of puppets, because with Sweetums or Big Bird, they're clearly like cartoonish. And whereas with this, the proportions are, because even with the King was still bigger,
like Muppety.
Whereas this was, I mean, some of them are more than others, but the very first one we meet kind of just looks like a human, a little bit Muppetified.
Yeah,
but like with a Muppet head that, like, I don't know how they. That's always something I wonder. How did they move? I guess like with Big Bird, one arm was a real arm, but then the actor's other arm was the mouth. I don't know what they did for this, because the proportions of Big Bird make that work because he's supposed to be so tall.
Yeah.
So you have like an average sized person stick their arm up, and now it's Big Bird.
Huh.
Whereas with this, like they seem to be human proportion.
Yeah, well, and there was that one.
Like, they're kind of creepy but impressive. I'm impressed by the technology is the wrong word because it's not tech, but like how they did it.
Well, there was that one particular, like, I guess he's supposed to be like a hick, but like the scaredy cat one, like he really looked like a human, right? Whereas like the kind of like older greedy guy, he had like a very like birdish nose.
Like he looked more exaggerated.
Like, yeah.
I think the very first one, is it Rover Joe? I forget the name.
No, like Rover Joe is the dog.
Oh.
But
then who
Well, the first one, yeah, and then,
Mordecai Sledge.
Okay.
Was the first guy who I thought he looked very, like, it was really uncanny. Because he looked like a puppet, but he also looked like a human.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've had human Muppet characters, but like something about this was just really weird. But again, I was impressed, kind of. I was impressed.
Yeah, and the third one too, but I think the second one, the one with the rooster, like, he kind of reminded me of...
he looked like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland.
He did kind of look like Queen of Hearts, but he also... the way that they, like, revealed his eyes, it kind of reminded me of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, when, like...
When the dad...
When he raises his eyebrows, and it's, like, his little eyes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that it's not just... Like, between the animals and the humans, there's a lot of really expressive facial expressions in this. Like, the movement of the eyes, which I feel like is like a big innovation of like the Muppet technology, where it's like the eyelids can open, so like they can be like really surprised. I think at one part with the rooster, he, like, his whole thing is he looked almost like a stoner. Like, his eyes were always kind of, like, almost half closed because he's always tired or whatever.
Yes.
But then when the human, like, after he finishes his song in the hen house, the human comes and scares him, and he turns around and his eyes open completely. Like, all the eyelids disappear.
Oh.
Right?
I guess so, yeah. I guess that didn't really... noticed that one as much. Well, I did notice though when we first get introduced to him though, because he did look very sleepy. Like he
well, that was the whole point, is that he missed his cue to do the cock-a-doodle-doo.
He looked kind of creepy almost, and like I didn't like Kitty.
He was like cock-a-doodle. Oh,
yeah, like him and Kitty's characterizations are like
Kitty.
Yeah.
Cat gut.
A cat gut.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kitty.
Well, I kind of like glanced over at the Letterboxd reviews and I saw Kitty.
No, cat gut.
Cat gut?
Yes.
Okay, well, cat gut looked disgusting.
I know, like a really matted hair and whatever.
But then, yeah, like you said, like he kind of looked like a stoner and like kind of weird. But then it got better once he kind of woke up.
Yeah. But they were very, expressive, particularly the humans, but especially Leroy. Like his moving of his mouth,
his lips, yeah, they would move past his teeth.
Like there was movement that, like I'm looking at it, it feels like a big leap forward in what the Muppets can do and can be, right? Because ultimately, all things like this, whether it's something low tech like just puppets, or if it's like technology, like ultimately it's just extra tools in your toolkit of your canvas, how to paint your canvas, right? So the fact, like, they're getting way more advanced with what like they can do.
Yeah.
So it's like it feels like the opportunities are starting to open up more, right? It still looks weird whenever they do, like, I don't know what you, like, I'm going to call it mega marionette, where it's like, it would have to be someone, like, up in, like, 12 feet up in the air, doing a marionette for Leroy walking. And you can tell it's marionette because, like, his human beings, we can't always articulate, but we're really good at noticing when something is off. That's why CGI can look really weird. Especially physics.
Yeah.
The physics of him walking just does not look right. Because the physics look like he's being lifted, rather than his body is moving forward.
Yeah, when we were watching it, you mentioned like the weight is off, like
the way his body, the weight would be shifting.
Yeah, like his front legs, back legs, whatever,
right? But so there's still like some things there, but like that's only so much you can. And frankly, I feel like they didn't really, at least the main Muppet movies I've seen, I haven't really seen them really do that technique. It's really only in these that I've seen it. And then in Emmett Otter, I know. Which is going to be the next one, spoiler. Which I have seen before, right? So I remember noticing that one, like, that's weird how they do a little marionette, because like they lead with a different part of their body than they would if they were like a physical creature moving. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because they don't really do that later on, right? They're either really small or body size.
Or we never see them, like, they don't have shots of them, like, walking like that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Like, it's something, like, this feels very experimental. Like, they're pushing against the boundaries and, like, trying to figure out, okay, well, what can we do? And even if we can do it, will it look good? Like, they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think they eventually give up on the marionette method of making them have wide-angle shots. Because, again, something I've talked about is that Jim Henson is very cinematic in his visualization of his stories. And this one felt way more cinematic than even the other ones. Because even the other ones, like, there were moments where, like, it was an actual shot composition. But most of the time, the past three just felt like a 3-camera sitcom setup. Like, it basically just felt like a play being filmed.
Yeah.
With just, like, multi-camera. Again, moments of, like, an actual cinematography. This one had, like, shots and then reverse shot. Like, so it's clearly not just, like, a sitcom where it's, like, you can't shoot from a certain angle because, like, there is no set. Like, there was different shots. There was moving camera. Like, kind of, like, panning around something. Like, I noticed it the most with Catgut in her little flashback when she's supposed to be, like, guarding. I guess it's, like, the pantry.
Yeah.
The camera basically does, like, a 90-degree kind of, like, swivel around her. Right?
Yeah.
And, like, it again, very simple, but you could see that Henson is manifesting his vision in a way that is in tune with the medium, rather than really just thinking of it like a puppet show, and then we'll just film it, because a puppet show is very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. This really improved on all the other ones in every single way. But yeah, the humans are creepy. The animals are also kind of creepy too.
Yeah.
The rooster, the cat gut, kind of creepy. The dog's okay, but I don't like how the dog doesn't really have eyes.
The dog doesn't have any eyes.
Leroy's like, you would think Leroy would be the most creepy one, because like donkeys are creepy in general, but
Are they?
everyone knows donkeys are creepy.
What?
Dominic the donkey, jiggity jig.
Well,
Also, can I do a sidebar?
yeah.
No one will know, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but my ex-girlfriend, who's very Italian, was offended by the song Dominic the Donkey. Like, she thought it was making fun of Italian people.
What, Italians don't have donkeys? We
I was like-
know Italians have donkeys. We see in The Godfather the little Italian man walking with his donkey.
That's true. I never understood that. I was like, it's not even about Italian. It's about, obviously, it's supposed to take, it's an Italian, like, Italian Christmas stuff, but it's not saying anything about Italian humans. So I never understood that. But donkeys are kind of weird because they go like, hee-haw, like they're just...
I know.
Aren't they sterile? Like, they're an abomination against nature? Like, aren't they, like, a product?
Technically.
Or mule? Or is that a mule?
Oh, I can't
I don't know.
remember.
Are those the same thing?
One of them. No, I think they're different. Because they're like, it's like a breed. And so, I guess...
So when you breed them, like, the offspring can't, like, have children, basically.
So it's kind of strange. But... this one was getting saucy because Leroy was like, ugh, I feel like a jackass. And Kermit was like, yeah.
Well, they wouldn't be far off.
Yeah. I'm like, ah!
Well, I mean...
He's a jackass!
Well, I mean... isn't it in the Bible? It's okay. An ass.
Who says ass in the Bible?
A jackass.
Who says that?
Like, about a donkey. Like, that's just a word for a donkey.
I know, but small children don't know that.
Jackass is also in Pinocchio when they get turned
I
into donkeys, because he's
know!
like, what do I look like to you? A jackass, but he turns around, his head is a donkey head.
I know.
Pinocchio's like, you sure do. Yeehaw. That's a traumatizing
That's
scene.
scary. Ugh.
Talk about body horror.
I don't like Pinocchio. It's so scary.
It's the best one.
No,
It's like the best one.
it's terrible and scary, and the children are smoking cigars, and it's
And to top it off, the children are smoking cigars.
they're turning into donkeys. Ugh. But no, it's definitely like a cheeky workaround in order to say it.
Yeah. But also, I don't think we were as prudish about things either.
What, back in
Yeah.
72?
Yeah, because I feel like, again, it's really starting to change in the 70s. And arguably it had already changed in, like, the 60s. But entertainment was a lot more, like, flattened. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't necessarily, like, okay, here's the stuff for the kids. Mm. And then it wasn't as, like, there weren't, like, target demographics. And in the same way.
Yeah.
There were, because, of course, in the 60s you get, like, the beach films, which are very much... the burgeoning idea of the adolescent, which was like a new concept in the 50s and 60s, really. So this is a little bit late in the 20th century for me to be making this argument, but I'd still argue, like, there was stuff in kids, like, even stuff that was for kids, like, we weren't as, like, oh my god, you can't. Because sometimes I'll do that, I'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe, like, that's not appropriate for a 10-year-old. But then I think about stuff that I was watching when I was 10 and being like, or, like, stuff that I was, like, secretly watching, like, an R-rated movie or something, and it's like, I mean, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we get a lot more protective as we get older of that age group, but when you're that age group, it's like, it's okay. Like, they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
If they hear the word jackass, it's fine.
Yeah, like, it usually goes over there. Well, I guess it's just, like, just kind of, like, dog whistle. Like, you're like, you know what it is when you're older, but, like, when you're young, it usually...
I think you're supposed to know what it is back when you're a kid. Like, I think It's not a joke that's going.
But you're not allowed to say it. That's the thing, is that it's something in a movie that you're watching for you that you're not allowed to say.
Yeah, but you're also not supposed to say shut up. But it's not like you can't watch a movie if someone says shut up.
People say shut up all the time.
But I'm saying as a kid, you're
well, no, it's rude, but you're not supposed to say ass, right?
Meep. I don't know.
Right?
We'd have to do some anthropological. Was it okay for someone to say jackass in front of a child back in 1972? We'd have to do some social.
Well, I always think about in Shrek, and it has that little song and something in the grass and shine your shoes, wipe your face. And I'm like, ha ha ha. They wanted to say butt, but they couldn't.
They want to say ass.
But it turns out they wanted to say ass. Oh my frick.
Oh my frickety frack.
Well, children used to be like adults, kind of like demonic, or whatever.
Demonic?
Yeah, people thought children were demonic, back in the medieval times. And so it's only kind of a recent concept that children are children, right? Because of labor laws and media and things like that. Whereas 1600s, you're able to deliver a paper. You can go deliver a paper, or you're able to wash the laundry. If I can wash the laundry, it's you were put to work at 10 years old. So
good.
It's only a recent
that's the way it should be.
Construct that
working in the mines.
That children should be kind of sheltered and childrenified. Infantilized. Anyways, so I thought that was scandalous. I think it's scandalous in Pinocchio too. But yeah, I didn't really. I liked the part when they're in the swamp and they think it's a family, and then it cuts to the bad guys. I think that's funny, but I think once they make contact with them, it gets very messy, and
it kind of just resolved the story really kind of there it is.
Yeah, I understand the whole point was they were all freaked out or whatever, they thought they were ghosts and whatnot, but it didn't really come off that way. It just kind of came off very chaotic, and then they just leave. So that was kind of a little sore part, but I think for the most part I enjoyed.
Yeah. It was funny. It was really funny.
Yeah. It's hey, lady, not to be rude, but how are we supposed to know how are we supposed to trust you? You've been chasing us for the past 13 years. He's I'm tired of chasing you mice. I'm sure you're all nice.
Hey, it rhymes.
It does.
I wonder if I enjoyed this as much as I did because of its own strengths, or because, and I said this when we were watching it, that it kind of feels like a proto Muppet movie, and not a generic Muppet, but the Muppet movie, because they both feature they both concern themselves with a motley crew assembling. Slowly, as they go on the journey, they pick up more and more people.
Yeah.
Specifically to follow some kind of artistic dream or ambition. Mm-hmm. Which is very the Muppet movie. Mm-hmm. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Is Kermit goes and he meets Fozzie, and then they meet they just keep adding to the group.
Draw up the standard Hollywood.
Draw up the standard rich and famous contract
standard
for
rich
Kermit
and
the Frog
famous.
and Company. Oh, I just can't wait. So maybe that's why I liked it, but it's a winning formula, right? Because by doing that, you get to have very different kind of characters, and there's narrative momentum. Mm-hmm. Whereas, in despite it being also based on a fairy tale, but the other ones just felt so boring. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it was filmed it's just a play. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the care. I think it's all the above plus more. But this one just had a certain kind of energy or a personality that the others haven't had. And that's why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. What? No, I'm just joking.
I think the jazz also helped. It kind of made it...
Yeah, the different. The other ones
funky
were...
and it
not funky, jazzy. Funky is totally
yes, of course,
different.
jazzy, but, like, it... I think it maybe we're able to connect to it more? Question mark? I'm not really sure how to describe it, but, like, there's a kind of dissonance between maybe, like, the soundtrack of the Frog Prince or really the... Oh, what is it called? Cinderella?
Hey, Cinderella.
Hey, Cinderella. As opposed to this, maybe because, like, it's, like, American? I don't know.
well, I think it does a lot.
Like American culture.
I think it grabs you because it's just, like, a funny idea of a cat playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
Especially a puppet. Like, we've seen it, like,
But
I mean, like, the
so good.
Aristocats is a thing where they have the music.
Fuck the Aristocats.
But, well, hold on. What do you mean, fuck the Aristocats? That was one of my favorites.
I don't like the Aristocats.
Oh, it's pretty mid. Oh, I'm not gonna front. It's pretty mid.
I mean, I can watch it again and reevaluate, but from what I remember, I really... It was very kind of boring. And you would think it would be fun and cool because there's cats.
Well, cats, I'm sold.
There's cats. There's a cat, the fat cat, playing the trumpet.
Everybody wants to be a cat. And then there's
Right?
the racist Siamese cat
Oh, yes.
playing chopsticks with chopsticks and saying really racist. I don't even know if I'm allowed to even say it to explain it.
Well, it's not like in Lady and the Tramp though, right? Like the Siamese song.
That's also kind of racist, but this is even more racist.
Oh.
A Siamese cat with really slanty eyes playing chopsticks with chopsticks, saying ching chang chong ching ching chang chong or whatever he says.
Does he say that?
Something like that.
Oh my god.
Is it racist for me to say it to explain it?
No, I didn't know what he said, so...
I apologize. It's really...
So don't be offended, listeners. This is simply for learning purposes. And then they, like, have the piano and they're, like, dropping through the house and, like, you would think it would be, like, a fun movie, but no. It has its moments, but it's really not a strong suit.
Yeah.
But, you know...
In any case, this movie, I think, has that going for it. That it's, like, just a funny concept of not only the music, which I guess is the allure of the fairy tale, but it's also jazz.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're just very...
Louisiana jazz!
They're just very funnily realized characters and scenarios.
Reminds me of home.
Louisiana?
No, not Louisiana.
Have you ever even been to Louisiana?
I have been to Louisiana, actually. But no, I just mean, like, the South in general.
The South.
Growing up in Texas and North Carolina.
The South.
Gotta love the South. Banjo picking
I do
chicken.
not have to love the South.
Banjo picking chicken, let me tell you.
I could find, like, almost nothing about this in terms of trivia. The only piece of trivia I could find is in the UK, the special was broadcast as a serial of 10-minute shorts.
Oh. Hey, lucky us.
There you go.
Lucky us.
We got all in one bunch. Do you want to hear some critical reception?
Oh, sure.
I could, of course, no contemporary.
Yes. No, read the first one.
Yeah, the first one's by someone named Viv.
Oh, I forgot.
But not Viviana Metzger over here. Viv. So for context,
like you forgot.
so
You forget
for
my name?
context of this, Don Salin was a designer of Muppets who died in 1978 or something. I think from like a heart attack or something.
Oh.
So I didn't know who that was. I had to look it up because this review references that guy. Rumor has it the full-body human Muppets were retired after gaining sentience. Allegedly, they were the cause of Don Salin's mysterious death. Sources say they're still out there roaming the Appalachian Mountains searching for meaning after taking the life of the man who created them.
What?
It's just funny.
Okay, Viv. Don't be weird for Vivs, okay?
You're ruining it for us, Vivs!
There's only so many of us. We gotta unite.
Oh, my friend. JoJo / Lily Maben. Is it like a joint account? I don't know.
You can't decide which one?
Their review is, while I liked Depressed Kitty, God did I wish Kermit could join their band so he could be in the whole thing and make it so much better. They're like Maroon 5, in that you'd have to keep reminding me that they exist, but even after you keep reminding me, I'll continue to forget them.
Oh, my frick.
And then Ethan writes, those human Muppet hybrids are going to give me legit nightmares for weeks.
I know, right?
So it's not just us. It's like, it's just something wrong. It's like, again, an uncanny valley.
It's like, just make them humans, or make them, like, funny Muppets.
Though I will say, though, this is the first one we watched where there's not been a single non-Muppified human.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see, kind of. Or interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Like, it was completely...
It made it
Maybe
cohesive.
that's what made it better. That it felt more cohesive, whereas, like, having the Muppet characters and then, like, a really bad TV actor acting alongside them kind of pulls you out, like, maybe with this, maybe what helped it was that it's all Muppets.
Mm-hmm. I think it was pretty... I think it was pretty tight. I mean, it was like, you know...
It was tight.
Each one had their own little story, then they came together, and now, you know... This is it. Like it's a very, like, simple, tight kind of story. It's not, you know, they're not...
Not a lot of fat.
You know, yeah. Whereas, like, the other ones kind of, like, they try to make up some lore, but, like...
It drags.
Like,
it really drags. Whereas this one, I was like, it flew by. I was having a blast watching it.
Yeah. We want more jazz!
The people want more jazz!
Give us more jazz!
Why did they invent this great genre for this one movie and then no one ever did any more jazz ever again before or since?
Oh my frick.
In terms of legacy of this, which there is a little bit of a legacy, because like the Muppets do, that they'll reuse characters. Mm-hmm. Or rather, they'll show up again. And some of these Muppets have shown up in other Muppet productions. So Catgut TR, the rooster, and Rover Joe later appear as recurring characters on The Muppet Show.
Why is her name Catgut?
Because it's hilarious.
Is it? Is a cat's gut hilarious?
Isn't your favorite word guts?
Well, yes, but I don't know.
Catgut and Rover Joe also appear in the Rainbow Connection finale of the Muppet movie. At the end, when it zooms out, there's like... I think they tried to incorporate as many of the Muppets that they've ever had.
Yeah.
For that end part.
There's a lot of when
it zooms out and there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Mm-hmm. And then also Rover Joe appeared in the Muppets Take Manhattan, where he was among the Muppets attending Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy's wedding.
What?
Because again, that was also one that they had just like a bunch of legacy Muppets to fill the group.
That's funny. But no TR. What does TR stand for?
He says 5 different things.
I know. That's that rooster.
That rooster. And then he's like, tender-hearted rooster. So his name is T.R. Rooster, so tender-hearted rooster.
No! T.R. the rooster, not rooster.
Tender-hearted rooster the rooster?
Well, that was just his name.
It's
not his last name.
It's like NFL football, National Football League football. Or MLB baseball. Major League Baseball. Maybe our favorite part. Seeing character actor line, what?
TR!
Oh. Tiara?
What? No! TR in his little situation.
Yeah. His situation?
Meeting Leroy, singing to the girls.
Meeting Leroy. Egging the mom.
Yeah. Trying to get away from the farmer so he doesn't start gnawing on his kneecaps. He's gnawing on his knee bones.
Because a lot of times with these, they'll have like, Vivian, you know about ADR.
Yes, of course.
Well, for listeners, if you don't know, so ADR is basically a process where, like, if the audio is like corrupted on set for whatever reason, corrupt is the wrong word, but like, let's say you're using like a wind machine, like it's really loud. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you re-record the dialogue later and like match the lips, like you have the actor watch the clip and like do it again. With this, you imagine it would probably happen a lot in case of like weird miking issues, like miking them. Mm. But also sometimes they would have someone be the puppeteer, but then someone else be the voice.
Oh, like sitting offset?
No, but they wouldn't even be physically on set. Like, they would have someone come do the voice later.
Oh.
Well, like, for example, let's say you're Frank Oz. You are both Miss Piggy and Fozzie. But if they're both in the same scene, you can't do both.
Yeah.
So, like, you'll be puppeteering one of them physically. Someone else will be doing the other, but then, like, later you'll record. Like, if someone else is doing Miss Piggy, you'll come in and then do Miss Piggy's lines, like, in a studio booth or something, right? I don't know what the deal was with this, but I imagine a lot of the humans were like that, because I don't know how you would mic them up if they're inside.
Yeah.
So, the guy doing the voice of the farmer guy with the rooster, it was like he was, like, right up to the mic. It was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you now, you little..." Like, it was so close. It was just really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's not my favorite part.
Creepy.
I barely talked about him, but I think my favorite part was Leroy.
Really?
Because I thought he was the most expressive of the characters. Like, I liked the way his face moved and how, like, it had complexity. Again, like, talk about, like, the lips moving, independent of the teeth. Like, it kind of had, like, as their mouths were, donkeys will do. Like, horses, like, they kind of...
Yeah.
Also, the fact that we were watching, I was like, he's doing this voice. I'm like, who does he sound like? And then I realized it sounds like he's doing, like, a John Wayne impersonation. He's like, "Well, I don't think we should do that." Like, he's doing, like, this weird, like, I don't know. But it was really funny. Okay, Viviana. 1 to 10. What are you giving the Muppet Musicians of Bremen?
Well, okay, I gave the Frog Prince a 7. And I did like this one, but I don't know.
It could still be a 7, even if you like it more.
Yeah, so what I was thinking is that maybe I'll give it a 7, but put it on top. Because I don't know if it's, like, 8 worthy, because I think the swamp part really...
kind of drags it down a little. That was when I checked out the most.
Yeah, because it was just, like, kind of, like, antics, and, like, you couldn't really tell what was going on, whereas, like... it's kind of silly, but like with Scooby-Doo, like when there are antics, you can tell what's going on, whereas this is like, it was like clearly just chaos and like, and very
It didn't help it was like a VHS rip of like a 70s broadcast on TV. Like, it didn't help. It was also just hard to tell sometimes what something was, if it was too dark.
Yeah, but also like you could kind of see the acting or like the choreography of it, and so it just kind of like was a little strange, right? Like if something hit them, like it didn't actually hit them, but you could like tell, right?
Like they were reacting, like doing like stage combat, but like it was very obvious.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
And then like their whole like rationale for staying in the house is kind of silly.
They're like, "Oh, we'll wait here for the family to come back, so we'll watch their stuff."
Yeah. Like,
all that food's gonna go bad! You may as well eat it!
They're gonna eat it. They're gonna have to eat it.
Well, if they think it's someone else's, they're not gonna steal.
Well, the whole thing was that they were gonna play for their food.
I guess not.
Why do they want to be traveling musicians?
Well, because they realize they have musical talent. They didn't even realize it.
Yes, but why don't they, like in Emmett Otter, they get like a house job, like where they're like regulars at a restaurant or something. So they're not like. What if you don't find a family in the middle of a swamp?
Well, that was very lucky.
Like
I was very lucky they found a house full of stuff.
Yeah, what if there was no food in that house?
Yeah. I think I'm also going to give this a 7. This is my first 7 of the bunch. Everything else has been 6. And by nature of that, I'm going to put this at the top. So you and I have the exact same ranking so far. Yeah. If the listeners, I'll just read it quickly from bottom to top. Hey Cinderella, The Great Santa Claus Switch, Tales from Muppet Land, The Frog Prince, Muppet Musicians of Bremen. So literally just in ascending order of release. So you end with the best one. Interestingly, that's in the order of release too. So like they're linearly getting better.
That's weird. Yeah, that's funny.
But I have a feeling the next one is gonna go on the top for both of us. So I think the trend is going to continue.
No.
So I think that is it for this week's episode of Now That's What I Call a Franchise. Next week, we're watching the next film in the franchise, the 1977 film Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Woo!
In April. Viviana, where can they find us?
Y'all can find us wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Franchise Podcast.
And if you have the time, leave a rating for us on Apple Podcasts, because apparently that helps.
And if you have even more time, leave us a review too.
We know you have many podcasting options, and we thank you for choosing us. Peace out, guys.
Later, Gators.